Former United States President Donald Trump made his first visit to Washington since leaving the White House 18 months ago. What followed was a fiery speech and strong hints of a 2024 presidential election bid. Donald Trump teased his return to the White House race in a speech in Washington, but stopped short of declaring his candidacy for the 2024 presidential election. Trump also repeated his claim that the 2020 election was stolen from him, despite other Republicans distancing themselves from his claims. He kept hinting at running for a re-election.
I'm a politician. I don't like to consider myself. I'm a politician, I guess. I ran for president. I won. Then I won a second time, did much better the second time. Did a lot better. Did a lot better. Very corrupt. I always say I ran the first time and I won. Then I ran a second time and I did much better. We got millions and millions more votes. And you know what? That's going to be a story for a long time. What a disgrace it was. But we may just have to do it again. We have to straighten out our country. We have to straighten out our country. We had it there.
Trump's 90-minute speech in the Capitol echoed many of the themes of his victorious 2016 campaign. He highlighted issues of illegal immigration and crime and accused the Democrats of indulging in corrupt practices. He also indirectly defended himself in the ongoing Capitol riots hearing case, saying that the corrupt were trying to damage him so that he could not work for the people of America.
Representative Jamie Raskin.
Never forget, everything this corrupt establishment is doing to me is all about preserving their power and control over the American people. They want to damage you in any form, but they really want to damage me so I can no longer go back to work for you. And I don't think that's going to happen.
Donald Trump was addressing the crowd regarding the upcoming midterm elections slated to take place in November. He highlighted how inflation was at a 49-year high in America. Trump lashed out repeatedly at Joe Biden, blaming him for the country's ills and accused Biden of allowing an invasion by millions of migrants at the southern border.
And our mother and father.
Trump emphasized that Republicans will do well in the upcoming polls. Remember, as the United States is heading for the crucial midterm polls, President Joe Biden's approval ratings are at historic lows, currently below 40%. And forecasts suggest that the Democrats will lose control of the Congress in the November midterm election. Will Trump use the momentum to launch his presidential bid, or will the continued hearing on the Capitol Hill riots derail his campaign going forward? These are some of the questions that remain to be answered.
That's why I'm pushing.
And with me on the broadcast this minute is our correspondent Susan Teherani joining us from New York. Hi, Susan. Let's just talk about the key takeaways from this speech that Donald Trump delivered, a very important one, especially since he has repeatedly hinted at his return to the White House race. But let's also talk about how Donald Trump, the name itself had united the Republicans before the 2016 race and somewhat has now, this time around, left them divided for multiple reasons.
Right. If there's one thing President Trump knows how to do is fire up a crowd and grab headlines in the media, whether or not it's the media that supports him or the media that opposes him. And we really saw that broadly across the media landscape here in the United States. He dominated really with this appearance in Washington for the first time. He touched upon issues, as you mentioned, regarding law enforcement, crime, immigration, and then he talked about himself for the large part. While what's interesting is, you talked about, him bringing the Republican Party together on the one hand and divisions on the other. While he was making that speech, his vice president, Mike Pence, was also making a speech across town as well. So, and Mike Pence, was saying that while him and Donald Trump don't agree on the principles of the Republican Party's platform, they do disagree on focus. And I think that was very telling on where some Republicans stand on, being that Donald Trump, focuses on the past, on 2020, and people like Mike Pence want to move forward and focus on things like immigration, crime, where Joe Biden has really failed the American people. But ultimately, if the Republicans pick Donald Trump, they will back him.
Right, Susan Teherani with us from New York. We're leaving it there for the moment. Thanks very much for the moment. WION now available in your country. Download the app now. Get all the news on the move.